you've done some work for Vince Neil too.
Yes.
Did Vince call you himself? Or did he send you ideas? How does that work?
Vince, I got hooked up with actually. I've met everybody in Motley Crue, which is my favorite band growing up, and I had done some work as a gift for Nikki Sixx, who's the bass player, and the guitar company that he was endorsed by saw some of the artwork, and they were also endorsing Vince. So they had reached out to me about doing some work with him. Once he had seen my artwork, he was impressed by it, and then his management reached out to me, and for the first few times I worked with him, it was assistants and managers and agents and stuff like that. And then it got to the point where I was in contact with him and have been in contact with him since I've started. And that was just huge for me to be able to do that.
My goodness, from where you started to where you are now, huge.
Yeah. I've been lucky that everything that I grew up passionate about and still am, I've been able to actually be involved in and make it a career.
Yes, but that didn't happen without some hard work.
No, it definitely
didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. And talent is key, but that only gets you so far.
That's true.
And hard work only gets you so far. It's a kind of a combination of the two, but
that's very wise, Jesse. Yeah. Let's take a look at some of your work, because I know the folks are like, wow, I'd like to see some of this. We actually came to your studio a couple of days ago. Scott Curling helped me film some B-roll, we call it, of your studio. Pretty interesting stuff going on in there. So we're going to take a look at the footage from your studio right now. And this is one of the tanks that you have on the wall, and there is your logo, Jesse's Custom Design. I assume you made that yourself.
Yes, that's a display tank, which I have a few in the showroom / office here in Wilmington. And that's just actually a cover. It's made of fiberglass. It's just meant to showcase artwork. There are some that are real. That little one there.
Yes, the blue one, which is actually Scott Curling's favorite. I love the 3D detail on that. Now, who is that supposed to be? Anybody particular? Or is
it's actually inspired by an artist, David Mann, who was a motorcycle artist and did a lot of centerfold work for Easy Rider magazine growing up in the 70s. My dad being a motorcyclist, and now I am as well. That was one of my inspirations.
And there's your bike, and I don't know that we can really pick up the detail there, but it looks like smoke that you put on
it's a
there.
little dusty.
Wow, that is crazy. I didn't notice it at first, but such light detail.
Yeah, that was they're called Ghost Flames, which I'm actually pretty plain Jane for my own type of thing. I was going to
ask you about that.
Yeah, I just wanted my bike to be all black. I wanted it to be as black as I could, and everybody said, well, this is what you do. It's kind of a rolling business card. So I put flames on it. They're classic. They're kind of always popular.
And this is the guitar that we have on this stage here that we can see. Adam, you want to set up the video clip we're going to watch for us? It's the point of every joke, right? That's the name of the song, The Point of Every Joke? Okay. Tell us a little bit about how you created the song, and then we'll take a look at the actual video.
So the song starts with like this little droning riff that kind of like flutters up and down this major scale along with the A note, and I got that actually from who's the band? Not Tiny Moving Parts. Who's the band that has that song Cardinals?
Wonder Years?
Wonder Years. They had like that. I think it was from that song Cardinals. I was like, oh, I want to do something like that. So it starts off like that.
I see a resemblance.
And then I heard Sum 41. I was listening to a lot of Sum 41 that month, and I just came in with this just like heavy like boom boom, and then I wanted like this almost loop and turn around down to the boom boom. So it was like boom 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 boom.
All right, so that's the melody part.
Right.
How about the lyrics? No, that's cool.
Lyrics. It was kind of like. So I went through this thing where I was hanging out with like a lot of seniors when I was a sophomore. I didn't talk to a lot of people my own age, and then the seniors left. And I was like, oh no, I'm all alone. So I was having a lot of I was jumping from a lot of friend groups to friend groups. I went with like one group that was like really good with their grades and stuff, but I'm like, I'm not like that.
You had to find a new place to fit in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I think I've just decided by this point, friend groups aren't the best for me. But Point of Every Joke was kind of like, the aftermath of being in one of those friend groups, because like you'll go in, you'll socialize, and then when you leave, you're kind of the point of every joke by that group.
Right.
They're like, oh, remember Adam?
Right. And it also has kind of an anti-bullying feel
to
it,
definitely
because
does.
I was wondering as I watched it and listened to the lyrics if that was where you were coming from too.
So there was one kid actually I heard about that month when I was writing that song, and this is where the anti-bullying thing comes. He was a kid in sixth grade. Sorry, he was being bullied by an 8th grader. This 8th grader like beat the crap out of him and stole his bike. And this happened in Wilmington. And then a month after that, we unfortunately had the 7th grader who committed suicide. So I wanted that song like to have an emotional substandard like that. And that for me personally, at least, it doesn't really come off with the melody of the song, but I did want it to have like that in the lyrics at least, and that was
yeah.
one of the
You may
strong
not
things for
catch
me.
that the first time around, but the second time you listen to it, you definitely get that.
No,
all right,
definitely.
so let's just let everybody see it, right? So we're going to take a look at your video called "Point of Every Joke." This is Humans and Us, and take a look at that. And then when we come back, we will talk some more about what's next for you guys. So we're going to take a look at that right now.
Cool.
You
I
are.
qualified this year, yes. at
Wonderful. What do you have
Providence,
to do to qualify for that? I don't think
Well,
I've
you
ever
have to-
asked anybody.
You have to train really hard.
I bet.
There's different, time qualification standards for women and men depending upon your age group. I'm 46, so I needed a 3:55. I had to do a marathon within 3 hours and 55 minutes. I ended up doing Providence and ended up qualifying in May, so I'm registered for 2018.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Get some footage and send it to us because
Okay.
we'd like to follow you. Can you tell me why you run?
Oh,
Why?
boy.
Why you do it? Jen.
I mean, for me, I think it started off as I started running in 2006. I had lost a friend. It was sort of a long, tragic story that I won't tell, but I started doing, one 5K a month. And
Do you think that was to clear your head, or do you feel that was in memory of your loss?
it was more of like an in memory type of thing.
Okay.
And then I did that for about 6 or 7 months, and then I started exercising just to do some races and to stay a little bit fit. But then I felt like a lot of people, I sort of fell off, and then relocated back to Wilmington, had a child, and was just feeling like, I need to get out and do something. So started setting up these little goals for myself. I'm going to get back into running. I'm going to run a half marathon. And by the time I had met Jill, I knew in my head that for one of my big birthdays, that I wanted to run my first marathon. And Soul Sisters helped me do that. So it's just, it was the exercise and getting out there at first. But for me, it's turned into so much part of, it sounds so corny to say, but my identity and, a social structure. I'm a working mom. I get up in the morning, I meet my friends, we go for a run, we have a coffee, and start the day. And for me, there's really nothing better.
Great. And what about you? Why did you start running, or what does it mean to you?
I started running in 2011, and I basically went from couch to marathoning. My husband's friend had signed up for the Boston Marathon, and growing up in New England, I'd always admired Boston marathoners, and I thought that was awesome and something I wanted to do one day. So I found a charity in 2011, and I went from couch to marathoning, thinking I would be one and done. But just something about being on the streets of Boston that day, I just knew there was no turning back, and I just fell in love with the sport of running, the training. I loved everything about it. And back then I was pretty much training alone, but I loved the structure of getting up every day, putting in the miles. At the time I was a stay-at-home mom of little kids, so it gave something that was just mine, which is rare if you're a stay-at-home mom. You're sharing kind of everything. So and then as the years progressed, I run for a lot of reasons. I'm more of a competitive runner. I love the competition of it and to push myself.